You have people that walk around with pepper in them bag, you know?
Yeah.
No matter where them go, they
Hot
have the
sauce
pepper.
in my bag, swag. Big up Beyonce. Where was she there? Hi everyone, my name is Tiana.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is WongaGyal, the podcast, your favorite Caribbean food culture podcast. Yeah. We're here again.
Why do you keep doing that?
I thought I'd like a spice.
Ooh, spice.
What a great segue into what we're talking about today.
We can't have a little introduction and can't ask people about them doing.
Yeah, for real. How y'all doing?
You know what I realized?
What?
In people's head, COVID is like done.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with it at all.
COVID apparently is over.
I feel like, you know, we spoke before about what life would look like after COVID. And I think I just wasn't prepared for it to happen so quickly.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that there are like a lot of cases all over the world, you know, people having their sixth wave, going into more lockdowns, and we're just outside without fear.
Out there without fear. Well, I will say though, I feel like from what I've been seeing, mind you, I'm not someone that keeps up with it religiously, but I feel like Jamaica's numbers aren't looking too bad.
But are people getting tested?
But that's also a thing. I don't know.
I feel like people only get tested when I'm traveling nowadays,
Yeah.
and that's if they need to, because some places are like
And I feel
repealing
like
that
the traveling
mandate.
wave has gone down now. Like, I feel like at one point everybody was traveling because them did frighten because it was like, yeah, man, we get like a freedom, we can go travel. But now I feel like everyone's over it. Like, there's not as many people traveling, so they're not
Well,
as many
maybe because we're
people
not in
getting
traveling
tested.
season.
That's
Easter
also
is
true.
coming up, and people plan to fly out, fly
That's
in.
true, that's true, that's true.
And you know, after the Easter weekend with all the party, and I have
Me
so,
nervous
I have
about
so
it, me
many
not lie.
fears. I'm so
Me
nervous.
nervous about
I'm
it,
so
but
nervous.
anyways, let me tell you guys, y'all be safe as Easter weekend approaches, because just be safe. That's all we're gonna say. Because
And not just with COVID. I think a lot of people, because we have not been socializing for a very long time, I don't want to say people frightened, but people frightened.
yeah, people are out
And
there without fear, literally.
The drinking
everywhere.
is out of control,
The
and people
driving
are
is out of
crashing.
control.
You guys need to get a hold of yourself quickly, because people have died.
Yeah.
People have died
Yeah.
because of recklessness, and it's, you know, you don't want to blame it on us being locked up for so long, but there is some truth to the
No,
fact
I
that
think it's very, very true.
we have been in our houses, and I understand that you want to go out, you want to have fun, and that's great, but you still have to be responsible at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, guys, just as you know, Easter and summer and all of them nice things that approach, just be careful in the streets. And yeah. So yeah, so today, as we said before, we're gonna be talking about
Spices.
seasonings and spices and pepper and all of them things there.
You know, some people think they are the same. Seasoning,
Girl,
spices,
that's what we're going to talk about today
Don't
in the
think that's
introduction.
true.
In the introduction.
Let's jump into
But
it.
before we jump into it, Ashley, what's your relationship with seasoning? You know,
My relationship
overall.
with seasoning overall.
the peppers,
I've
the
never
spices.
not had a relationship with seasoning. Seasoning,
Same.
I believe in treating every aspect of any meal I'm cooking as a meal by itself. So everything has to be seasoned. So the finished product is well seasoned, well flavored.
Yeah.
I can't imagine my life without seasoning, whether it be powder, ground seasoning, or fresh herb seasoning.
Yeah.
People who only use salt and pepper, shame on you. Look on the whole heap of seasoning and spices that God give you, and I'm just out here.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like there are just so many flavors to be explored in the world. Like, why would you choose to only use
Kosher
salt
salt?
and pepper?
White pepper.
Salt and black or white pepper. Because I'm not even gonna say white pepper, you know, because people sleep on white pepper.
No, white pepper is good.
I think a lot of
But
people
white pepper
sleep
is
on
not-
white pepper.
White pepper is not something that you replace with black pepper when you add
Exactly.
salt.
It's an addition. It's like Salt, black pepper, white
The
pepper.
pepper.
Also, something that people do is they don't know the goodness of freshly cracked black pepper.
Yeah.
Because that is our whole. Anyways, yo,
Before we reach there.
before we even reach there, before we rumble tumble stumble into there.
But yeah, just to, what was I saying? Oh yeah, my relationship with spices and seasoning. But peppers,
I know you're a big
we've had a
difference.
love-hate relationship over the years. I used to be able to tolerate certain peppers, not really pepper, but certain spices. But then one day, I swallowed one piece of Scotch bonnet, and my belly was like, "Nah, girl, you don't want none of this no more." And I think I threw up actually,
Wow.
right after eating it. And from then, I can't tell you whether or not my body rejects spices but I just avoid it altogether because I don't want to,
Go
test
through
it.
that again.
And I mean, I'll tolerate certain spices in certain foods that I think should be spicy. But what I've observed over the years is that a lot of people use pepper to overcompensate for the fact that they can't
That is
cook.
very true. That is
So,
very true.
if
Not
I'm-
every food needs seasoning, but not every food needs pepper.
Pepper, agreed. So what I've noticed, like certain people will say, "Oh, them can't eat curry goat unless it pepper it to the point where them nose are run."
Mind you, I do like when certain foods have my nose running because it's like, I think food for me is more than just putting it in my mouth and my taste buds. It's like the whole experience.
Like nose not in your
Yeah.
food is the experience.
Not in my food, but sometimes I just
Your nose is so close to your mouth, so you know
sometimes,
that.
sometimes I just really want a clear out. Like I know that when I eat,
So go take some Zyrtec with me when you want to clear out with your
no,
nose or your
sometimes
worm
me just
medicine
me
exists.
want my nose, I want my throat, I want my mouth, I want my nose I burn off. But that's just me. I know everybody's not like that.
And then.
But that's a sometime thing though. I don't
Okay.
feel that way all the time.
I think I kind of compare it to like eating really hot food. Somebody actually said to me the other day, because I don't eat anything that's extremely hot, meaning if the meal is piping hot, I'm not going to eat it. And
hot
if
as in heat.
heat,
Or? Okay.
and if like the tea is really hot, I'll make it cool down a little bit. I'm not gonna drink cold tea, but I'm not gonna drink it piping hot and burn my mouth. And this person was like, that's an indication of patience because people can't sit down and allow their food to cool
That's
and allow.
true.
But I
I
can't.
don't have no patience. The other day, me cook.
I'm not gonna be the one to burn myself with a patty.
Actually, my bun, my tongue, the side of my mouth, and the top of my mouth in a one bite.
The
And
only
that's when I knew that something was wrong with
The only time that will happen to me is if I'm tasting the food while I'm cooking. That will, my hand miggle will burn and my lip will burn, but I'm not gonna sit down and have a meal that's
No, man.
so hot to the point where I know somebody who said the beef out of the patty, they drop on them pants and burn them
And burn
skin
them.
through the pants one day.
That wild.
How eager are you? Anyway, I was just comparing my feelings towards spice with the same how I feel about eating really hot food.
Okay, so I guess we can start the conversation, as you said, off with seasoning in general, right? And one thing I've come to learn, and I learned this, like I knew it, but I never knew it, and I really learned it when I saw it in practice.
Okay.
Spicy means something different to Caribbean people, and I'm gonna say Caribbean. Now that it doesn't mean the same thing to other people, but I am a Caribbean person, and that is the only lens that I can speak through. But I think spicy means something different to Caribbean people than it means to American people, possibly Caucasian people. But you never heard it from me. And the reason I say it is because I remember one time. So during my senior year, we lived in a house, like a townhouse, and it was 5 of us. And every Sunday we'd cook. And to me, I always used to try, like I never used to put Scotch bonnet in the cooking for the rest of my house because I was the only Caribbean person in the house. And I never wanted too hot and them thing there. And I remember like my housemates would say, "Oh my God, this is so spicy." And I'm like, but there's no pepper in there. What do you mean it's spicy? And so it's like to them, spicy was more just like it had a lot of flavor. Like I don't want to use the word spice, but I guess it has a lot of maybe pungent, maybe or punchy It has a lot of punchy flavor.
Which begs the question.
Whereas to me, spicy mean my tongue abona.
Exactly, so, which is why I said you have people who consider them to be the same thing. So what we would define as seasoning is probably what they would identify as spicy, and they're not used to it.
Yeah, that's true. It was very interesting because to me, like, like when I'm cooking, you know, first of all, I don't really cook with the all-purpose seasoning because all-purpose seasoning, if you never know, by the way, is just a mixture of
so if you continuously season things with the different
seasonings.
ones, and you put the all-purpose in there, then it's just whole heap of seasoning and it's salty.
Like, it don't make sense you put a whole bevy of seasonings and then all-purpose seasoning. It don't really make any sense. But anyways, typically for me, when I am cooking, and I'm not cooking like a specific recipe, if I'm cooking like, just, you know, cook up some chicken because you're hungry, I will always put paprika, cayenne, and chili powder is always in the food.
Ooh, twins.
And
Like, I feel like I have a basic
Yeah.
foundation of spices that I will always have, and then I tweak based on what I'm cooking.
Exactly. But to me, when I put those things in food, I'm not trying to make spicy food.
I'm making flavor.
I'm just making
food. It's so the food taste, and it tastes this way with the spices, with the seasoning.
Yeah. And then, but then I realized, you know, not everybody is like that. Some people generally, like, if I touch a cayenne go in them food, the food is spicy.
No, I like the smokiness, like the kind that you don't get from smoked paprika.
Yeah, and so it does. I mean, I don't have the science behind it, but I do think there is some sort of linkage between people who come from African lineage, and maybe people who come from maybe a European lineage. I feel like there might be a difference in our heat tolerance based on just culture.
Yeah, definitely, it's socialization. If you never grow up having it, then you're not going to identify something as being spicier than the other.
For sure.
And you're not going to like it either. So that's why it was so easy for them to identify or to say that the food that you're cooking is spicy, because I'm not used to it.
Yeah. Not to say that there are not Caucasian people who don't enjoy flavorful and spicy food, because there are, I know a couple. But it was just something that I noticed. Whereas I just felt like the Caribbean people, and maybe I could go as far to say as the black people at my school were very much more tolerant of spicier food, you know, and so it was interesting. It was definitely very, very interesting.
And then, you know, on the other end of the spectrum, if we're supposed to put it in the context that you introduced about, you know, different cultures and backgrounds, determine the level or the tolerance of spices. For me, somebody will look at me and say, oh, this coolie girl don't like eat pepper.
Yeah, I remember when the first time you told me that you couldn't manage pepper, and in my mind, obviously everybody is different and everybody's life is different based on their race, but I was like, Jano girl, are you Indian and can't eat pepper?
So for me, it's I could tolerate it up to a point, and then afterwards I was really looking into it. I'm just like, what's the point of me digesting such spicy food to the point where I'm uncomfortable? Like, I don't need it. Mind you, we still cook with a Scotch bonnet pepper because I need it in the food. It's a part of the meal. You know, but you're not going to see me, excuse me, cut one in a half and dab it all over the chicken and them something there.
Yeah. I feel that. So I wanted to go more in depth, and I think this leads into like the Jamaican relationship, the specific Jamaican relationship with seasoning, and more on the pepper, right? Because of course, the two of us are Jamaican. That's really the only thing that we can truly, 100% talk about. Mind you, we will talk about some of our other Caribbean neighbors, but the Jamaican is what we are really able to really focus on here. And so I found that in the Cambridge World History of Food, which was published in 2000, the year, you know, Y2K. So they were basically, in this book, they were basically going through each country and listing out foods that maybe they weren't necessarily indigenous to the country, but they were representative of the country.
Okay.
And so when it came to Jamaica, there were 11 items that were specifically Jamaican that were brought up, right?
The most Jamaican thing to do is to be extra.
Right. And I guess leading back to the whole seasoning versus spicy. The first, well, I'm gonna say 3 of the 11. One was Jamaica pepper, which is pimento, allspice, which is funny because to me I would never consider pimento a pepper. That's like a seasoning to me. That's not pepper to me.
Yeah, that's the only spice about it is the name.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not spice.
Yeah, so Jamaica pepper, which is what we call pimento, or I have to say allspice because pimento, for example, in Trinidad is something completely different. And if you go to the supermarket in the US, you're not gonna find pimento. It's allspice.
Allspice. Which is just ground up pimento.
Right. And then there's the Jamaican hot pepper and the Jamaican red pepper, none of which is Scotch bonnet, because Scotch bonnet was listed separately under Scotland. Where do you think Scotch bonnet come from?
Scotch raw. Wow, that is interesting.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so what then is the Jamaican red pepper?
To be honest, I couldn't find it. But there are a lot of peppers that grew throughout the Caribbean region and grew throughout Jamaica. Funny enough, there were in the book that I was reading, there were a lot and things that I had never seen. Like there's a pepper called bird pepper, Negro pepper. Obviously, bell pepper is counted as a pepper. Yes.
So bird pepper, hold on. I've heard about bird pepper before, but Jamaican people call it bud pepper.
The small one, the Likkle one. White name bun pepper.
Bud.
Oh, bud. Bud. Oh my God.
Or maybe that was a country thing.
No, it might be bud pepper.
I've heard bud. So
bud
bird.
pepper. It's
it
really
has to
bird
be bud pepper.
Yeah, it's bird pepper.
It's the matches lane all over.
But yeah, so clearly, I just found it really interesting that I feel like Jamaica, and we'll talk about it more later on, but Jamaica has such a close-knit relationship with Scotch bonnet pepper, and it's not
like
even Jamaican.
How did it happen?
Not even Jamaican.
I mean, I don't think I ever assumed it was Jamaican. I just knew that somebody brought it here, maybe. However, Scotland?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Scotch, yeah.
Yeah. So,
bro, people in Jamaica name restaurants off this pepper.
Scotches.
And
yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
so, to say just how big pepper influenced the Caribbean identity is it goes way back before the Europeans even came here.
BC, before Chris.
Before Columbus. BC. Yes. Oh my God. So it goes that far. Pepper played a large role in Taino culture, and we can definitely see that.
Definitely.
Given that barbecue and jerk came from Taino culture.
Pepper pot.
Pepper pot came from that, right? And it was actually the Amerindians who, and of course Amerindians being the larger word for the indigenous peoples who were here before BC. So the Amerindians actually domesticated peppers to produce larger fruit and make them less likely to be eaten by birds. So that's why bird pepper is called bird pepper, because it's smaller. And so birds, it's more easily digestible by birds because it's smaller. And so all of the others, are direct results of our ancestors, basically. Well, our indigenous ancestors.
I feel like no matter where you look at food, no matter the context, no matter the perspective, it will always come back to the history that we've all shared.
Yeah.
And the diversification is a representation of how our history was so dynamic and ever-changing. So many evolutions that we went through, and so many hands that we were colonized by Jesus Christ. We're still colonized to this day, I feel like sometimes. But You know, it's so interesting that we'll always come back to the same conversation.
Oh wait, like
Who was here first? Who came after them?
It's so crazy how, and I guess it's the whole. I mean, I feel like we say this all the time, but it's the whole point of the podcast. It's to like think deeper than
because
just
it never surface level. It's
it's
always deeper
never
than the music.
surface.
It's always deeper than the
It's
music.
never surface.
Brethren, Scotch bonnet pepper, you know, Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm never gonna get over this.
And yeah, so we're going to bring it back to the whole conversation of people thinking. You remember when I said earlier about how I think there is a little dissonance between the whole like people of African descent versus people of European descent can handle pepper. So as early as 1740, there is a journal. You know them slave owners be writing. You know they be writing. So it was observed that the bell pepper, which is sweet pepper, what we know as sweet pepper, the bell pepper is red when ripe. The Negroes will not use it because it is not hot enough for them. So even on the plantation, the enslaved were not fans of bell pepper because to them that's not a pepper. It's not hot enough.
People will cut up bell pepper in a salad and eat it raw.
Yeah.
It's not a pepper.
Yeah.
So we're in agreement. Continue.
We're in agreement. So we're talking about Scotch bonnet now, right? Let me tell you, I just wanted us to put into context how hot a Scotch bonnet pepper is.
The Scoville units?
Yes. So if you didn't know, heat is measured, and heat by heat I mean like pepper. Spiciness is measured by what is called a Scoville heat unit or SHU. A jalapeno pepper, right, is between 2,500 and 8,000 Scovilles.
Sounds about right.
Right? A Scotch bonnet pepper is between 100,000 and 350,000 Scoville units.
That's not too much pepper. That's not too much.
I did not realize there were it was
habanero
such a
is above Scotch bonnet.
I do think habanero. Let me double check that.
I think it's above, and then you have like the ghost pepper above that. I watched too much thing there. You know that show, the Wings show. Oh my God.
Hot Ones.
Yeah, first
Big
feast.
Big up Hot Ones. I love that
Sean,
show.
My favorite
I love that
interviewer.
show. I can't find it, so the internet now work.
Are you connected to the internet?
Yeah.
So it embarrassed me every day. It's okay.
Oh well. Anyways. Oh yes. Okay. So the habanero is 150,000.
Oh, so it's less than Scotch bonnet.
No. It's barely above because Scotch bonnet will start at 100,000.
Oh, okay, but
so it's
what
just
does it go up to?
It's a little bit above. It doesn't say in this.
Oh, the range doesn't say. Oh.
It doesn't say.
First we hot ones.
Yeah. Hot ones first we feast. So yeah, that's how hot it is. And
you know, I've seen people like bite Scotch bonnet pepper and eat it.
It's hot.
Like chew on it and swallow afterwards.
Brother, the fact that we put that in rice.
That's true. I can't cook rice and peas
We
without
put
Scotch
that in
bonnet
rice.
pepper.
That should go to show how much we love pepper. We put pepper in rice. And
I mean, I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at that at all.
But it's not only, but you see, that's the thing for me. That's how I kind of started my relationship with spicy food after the whole debacle with the Scotch bonnet pepper, because I said to myself, I can cook with the peppers and not have my food being excessively spicy to the point where I can tolerate it.
Yeah.
And another thing is the rice and peas taste so different if you don't put the pepper in there. It's not only the spice that in, but you see that flavor from the Scotch bonnet when it done. When the rice
it's like a residual flavor.
Let me tell you something. You see when the rice bubble down and you have the Scotch bonnet in there, you can burst it if you want, you know, and that is what will give you the pepper.
Yeah.
But if you don't, that rich, earthy flavor that it give the rice and peas, it's unmatched. So you can't cook without it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very, very,
but
very,
that
very,
shit's
very,
hot.
very true. It's very hot. It's very hot.
hot.
It's very hot, and it is actually Scotch bonnet pepper is the most commonly cultivated pepper throughout the Caribbean region. So
you see, and now we're just perpetuating the spice culture then.
We love it.
We love it so much where we can get it everywhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah. So it's most commonly cultivated throughout the Caribbean, but Jamaica is the biggest player in the regional market.
Extra.
Jamaica is the biggest player in the regional market.
Do we export Scotch bonnet
Yes,
pepper?
we do. We do export Scotch bonnet. By 2002, it was recognized as one of Jamaica's continuing competitive non-traditional export crops. So it was one of our biggest export
some
crops.
pepper.
Let me tell you, actually, funny enough.
I'm gonna need a whole heap of space for it.
Let me tell you how we reach here. Let me tell you how we reach
It's not
here.
gonna grow big like mango.
So, by 2002, right, it was one of our biggest non-traditional export crops.
Okay.
By 2020, the Scotch bonnet pepper was like gaining international fame, which I did not know. It was on the Haffi Foodies 10 food trends to look out for 2020. It was on New Zealand's top 25 food trends for 2020.
And they were referring to Scotch bonnet people coming out to the Caribbean?
Yes. And it was on UN Food Ingredients 2021 global food trends, right? So this is clearly, this Scotch bonnet is making a name for itself.
It's a cultural movement now.
That in 2020, Forbes published an article, and the headline was, Caribbean Scotch bonnet is so hot that suppliers are struggling to meet demand.
Hot meaning it's hot in demand and hot in the
Yes.
taste?
In 2018, Jamaica was only producing 55% of the demand. We were supplying only 55% of the demand. That means that in 2018, there was 45% demand
that wasn't met.
That was not met, that somebody could be meeting.
I could do it. I should. Why not? It's not gonna take a whole lot of space.
It's not.
No, I'm gonna do it for you.
It's not. People.
I'm gonna plant pepper.
People. The Ministry of Agriculture is trying to get young people into farming.
I applied and they told me no. Yeah, they had a thing going on. No man, me and Floyd did nearly catch up over it too, because they had a thing where they were promoting backyard farming, like pandemic time. So you would apply and state where you live and if you have the space to accommodate, and then if you were approved, so to speak, they would give you the planting tray, the seedlings, the soils, to start you out.
Yeah.
And them tell me no.
Why?
I wasn't given a response. I was told no. I don't look like farmer. I don't like me can't farm things. It's alright. When I start supply the 45% pepper what una can't reach, you say you gonna call me instead.
That me like. Me will help you out. Me will invest.
Let's do it.
I will invest. Because actually Diana Edwards, the president of JAMPRO, which is Jamaica Promotions Corporation, she has a quote, well not really a quote. She was talking somewhere and she said this. I don't know where she was talking, but it was in the Forbes article. It says, the next step for Jamaica is to create more value-added products from Scotch bonnet peppers. This will not only have a positive impact on the economy by increasing export sales and creating jobs, but it will also diversify our exports in the agribusiness sector. So clearly it is something that they are trying to push. I find it very interesting that I have never heard about this before.
Let me just plug something right here. As it relates to value-added products for pepper specifically, Spurtree does a great job. And Goshen Distributors, they make authentic Jamaican peppers. They make their own mixtures, they make their own recipes. So if you're ever in the market for value-added products that are not only exported but are supplied locally, you can check out the two agro-processing businesses that I just mentioned a while ago. In the short infomercial, back to you, Tiana, for the rest of the podcast.
Great segue. So the top agro-producers, so these are the top agro-producers, not just in Jamaica, but in the region.
Okay.
Are of pepper, that is, are Grace,
Nice.
Walker's Wood, Spurtree Spices.
Spurtree.
And you know what Jamaica's leading pepper sauce producer is, which shook me because I have never heard of them in my life.
Who?
Gray's Pepper Products Limited in Savannah, Lamar.
Grace.
60% of their products.
Not me about to Google them.
60% of its products are destined for the export market, which is probably why we don't know them that much, because the majority of their products go to the US.
Grace as in G-R-A-Y?
G-R-A-Y. In the Forbes article identified them as Jamaica's leading pepper sauce
Grace
producer.
Pepper Products.
No, I don't know if that's just a great PR, but yeah.
Them have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah. They have a website too. Check it out.
Wow.
But yeah, that just goes to show of all the pepper sauce producers in the Caribbean. We have what, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top.
Yeah, but you know what is highlight to me? And it's something that I observed with a different product. You see them country brand here?
Hey,
Them big in a country, you know?
them big in a country and them
big
big
abroad.
in a world.
Because we them just probably don't supply to Kingston. Because
Exactly.
I've never seen this label in my life.
I've never seen it in my life. And you know what? We don't need to see it. Because
It's out there.
Guess what? And you know, we're going on a little tangent here, but this is Kingston syndrome, Kingston bubble syndrome is a real thing, you hear? People in Kingston like to think that they represent all of Jamaica and they represent all of the Caribbean, and that is not true. That is not true. Something could never yet touch Kingston, and it'd be bigger than the whole of we. Like Grace.
Boy, Pep. So Jamaica have the top 4 in the region. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
Keep it up, guys.
Yeah.
You might hear another business coming soon.
So guys, you know, like how them say, or we're saying, you know, like, if you have a cow, you can give it, like, if you have a Scotch bonnet link to it, you can give it, you know, like.
No, don't worry about it. I'm going to start it out.
If you have a buckling link, so we can make the pepper and buckle him.
Actually, I'd prefer jars, like
Hit
glass
us
jars.
up.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Make we do it. And we're open to investors as well.
Yeah. Join the production line.
Try the production line.
Why not? But yeah, so I really just wanted to highlight all of those things just to say, like, how important pepper is to Jamaicans, not just in our food that we cook at home, but it is clearly so important in our overall economy. And I think that's something that's very overlooked by the average Jamaican.
Something as simple as pepper does
Pepper,
so
you know,
well.
Pepper,
Them really did say farming is a way to go, you know.
eat what you grow what
Grow
you
what to eat. And you know, Jamaican people put pepper in everything. They put
Everything.
pepper in the seasoning. Them before them
Yo,
season the food,
yo.
have pepper in there. After them cook it, them put it in there while them a cook too.
I remember when I was younger. Of course, when I was younger, I couldn't really tolerate pepper because you're younger and your taste buds are very, I like to call them very raw, them very fresh, they're very sensitive.
Too.
And so I never really ate pepper when I was a child, but my mother, make it worse, my mother worked for Grace. So my mother literally put pepper on every single thing. And I remember as a child, I couldn't understand it. Like, I'm like, why? Why you don't just enjoy the food as is? Like, why you need to put pepper on everything? But now, I understand.
And you know, I don't understand. I really don't, because to me,
It just adds a little.
I know it does add it, and I know that certain things need to be spicy to taste good. One of those things I think is curry gold. Like, it have to have that kick in there for it to, you know, I don't know, bring up the rankness of the ram. I don't know what it is. But to have pepper on everything, and when I say everything, I mean, you have a plate of food in front of you, right, Ross? I mean, you have a plate of food in front of you. Let's go through it. You have rice and peas, oxtail, probably some potato salad, vegetable salad, and some macaroni and cheese. You bust a Scotch bonnet. You dab it over the oxtail. That's a great oxtail, little spice, that's nice. Rice and peas have a little kick in there because the Scotch bonnet did it, you know, the pot when it's a bubble. Where you go with the Scotch bonnet on the potato salad? Where you go with the Scotch bonnet on the macaroni and cheese?
Okay. In that sense, I understand.
And you have people
It's
who
true.
overdo
It's
it
true.
like that.
Not everything need pepper. Macaroni and cheese to me don't need pepper. Like, why are you tainting cheese? Cheese is already so expensive. You don't need to taint it. You need to
leave it as is.
You need to
get your money's worth.
You need to leave it alone.
But you have people who do that, you know, and that is something that I will never understand, because for me, yes, I barely use it, and maybe, you know, I'm embarrassed in that sense, but I don't get the appeal of having your tongue burning you when you're eating something as simple as a fried chicken leg.
Okay, fair. Yeah, okay, in that sense, yeah, because I'm not necessarily going to put pepper on fried chicken either. Because
You have people that walk around with pepper in them bag, you know,
Yeah.
no matter where them go, they
hot
have the
sauce
pepper.
in my bag, swag. Big up Beyonce. Wait, what should they?
As I was
Big
saying.
up Beyonce, Giselle Carter, no, Knowles Carter.
Yeah, people like walk around Not just like the bottle pepper, man, talk about them carry Scotch bonnet in them bag.
Yeah, man. I know people, like, it was a running joke at school abroad, like, you knew the Caribbean people because them pull up to the D's, which was our dining hall, pull up to the D's and sauce.
But you see, in
sauce
that situation, I understand because America... Be careful what you're saying. North American cooking styles don't include the spices that we're used, or even not even so much pepper, it's just what you're used to.
Yeah.
So you want to bring that sense of, you want the food to taste. I don't want the food to taste good because I'm implying that their food tastes bad.
It doesn't.
But it doesn't taste the way that you want or what you are used to, what you used to growing up. So you carry your own spices.
And I must also say, I think real pepper lovers know that different peppers taste differently.
Oh, 100%.
For example,
100%.
like a jalapeno is gonna give you a completely
different taste.
And it's not just because of the Scoville unit. It's like it carries a different flavor than 100%. A Scotch bonnet. A habanero is gonna carry a completely different flavor profile from a ghost pepper, for example. And so I think that's it. It's like you grow up, and it's just like anything else. I grew up with Scotch bonnet pepper. I didn't grow up with jalapeno pepper.
Me either.
So I grew up with Scotch bonnet, and that's the flavor that I like. And so when you go abroad, even if they use another pepper, because I definitely had meals with jalapenos. Granted, it was nice. It does add a nice spice, but it's just a different kind of spice because it just tastes different. And so sometimes, of course, you want to enjoy different things, but sometimes you want a piece of home too, So, yeah, man, hot sauce in your bag swag. Big up Grace.
And I tell you see, even look up, I think we were talking about it earlier before we started recording, which kind of adds to what Homegirl from John Pro was saying about creating value-added products. Jamaican people have been making pickled pepper at them yard for years, meaning it's not something on for you to go in somebody's kitchen and you see the reuse the coffee jar filled with vinegar and the spices and the peppers and the onions.
Well, I guess what we kind of know as escovitch sauce now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's literally what it is. Vinegar, onion and pepper.
I love that, you see. I love a pickled pepper.
Really?
I could eat it by itself.
I always love the smell of it.
But you don't like the taste?
It's very spicy, so it's not like I'm going to enjoy the taste because it kind of unbearable for me, but I love the way it smells. I
never used to love it as a child, but no.
Dog, my father used to...
My father used to make it... the festival and sop it up when we're done with the fish.
I will sop up the vinegar, but I won't eat the pepper because I like the flavor of the vinegar with the festival or the bami. So I will have that. Dog, my father used to pickle pepper and tape it up and pack it up and send it to New York.
Yeah, man.
People dead for pickle pepper.
Yeah, man. Me know.
I'm not going to lie, it's worth it.
It is. For sure.
It.
But given that we are your favorite Caribbean food and culture podcast, I didn't want to leave out, some other players. So I just wanted to mention quickly that even though the Scotch bonnet is the hot topic, she's the hot girl. She's
that girl.
She is the moment.
She's the moment.
She is the moment. It's not the hottest pepper in the Caribbean. As a matter of a fact, the hottest pepper in the Caribbean once held the Guinness World Record for the hottest pepper in the world.
Extra.
And it was only dethroned in 2017 by the Carolina Reaper. If you know
I've
about
heard of Carolina Reaper.
Burn off.
The Carolina Reaper is the one that you have to handle with gloves, right?
Yes. I had the Carolina Reaper last summer. We went to a pepper shop in Atlanta.
What did you have it with?
It defeated me. Nothing.
I think you just tasted
it was
the pepper.
A sauce. Yeah, it was a pepper store, and so you could sample everything.
So they make like a little puree out of the peppers, and you just taste it like a sauce.
Actually, I had to leave the store. I walked, and I was guzzling water.
How much of it did you have?
Literally, actually, like liquor tasting spoon.
Yeah.
Just a little. It was not even a spoonful. But anyways, we're going off topic. So I guess now the second hottest pepper in the world actually comes from Trinidad. It's called the Trinidad Scorpion Butch Tea Pepper, or the...
too many words.
Or the Trinidad Scorpion Moruga Pepper.
It sounds too serious. It's
have a
government name.
Let's bring it back. The jalapeno pepper. its max Scoville unit is 8,000 jalapeno. The Scotch bonnet's max Scoville unit is 350,000. The Trinidad scorpion pepper Scoville unit is 1,463,700 Scoville heat.
Absolutely not.
Units.
For what reason?
For what?
Tell me why. Tell me why you need it. Tell me why. Bro, if you have a little bit of that in one meal now at 26 years old, you don't need another meal with it until you are 58. That not sound right. Hold on. That's 62.
That's hotter than a ghost pepper. Hotter than a ghost pepper. And
bro,
let me just give you the comparison.
No, Ben, no.
The Carolina Reaper is
no,
2 million.
Right, actually, what's 26 plus 26? 52, not 62.
Oops. Oh. But yep, so Carolina Reaper is number 1 hottest pepper in the world. That's 2 million. The highest is 2,200,000. Actually, no. The scorpion pepper's highest is 2 million. And then the ghost pepper's highest is 1,460,000.
I knew. Wow, that's very interesting because I always thought the ghost pepper was the highest. Never know.
Nope.
So the one will come from over there. So
it is third hottest pepper in the world. The ghost pepper. Yeah. So clearly.
But why? I would like to talk to somebody who eats that level of spice regularly.
I feel like when you get to that level of spice, it's because you're desensitized. It has to be.
It has to be.
Like, I feel like what you were talking about before, Ashley knows a guy who, he does this.
Yeah, so he has an agro-processing company, and they do different Jamaican spices, so he's always testing the recipes, and him tell me, say, no matter what it means now, it might feed a whole heap of pepper for it to have any effect. So he just grew a tolerance.
So I think that's what it is. It's like when you have pepper so much, and this is with anything, and it's not just pepper, but when you have something so much, after a while it grows on you, you become desensitized, but you're still chasing the thrill. So you have to just go hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter.
You know what that is? That is some euphoria shit. That's some addiction right there. You keep chasing the higher you once had before. Now you gonna eat ghost pepper, burn off your tongue, don't you realize your stomach walls and degenerate, all of them something there. That is crazy.
And you know that like pepper, like when I had that Carolina Reaper pepper sauce, I'm not gonna lie, like I felt delirious. Like I felt like
you had to be.
This was me.
We've all watched the Hot Ones. People cry.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
What did you do to help? Just water?
That's the only thing. Actually, it's not even like I was in a restaurant. I did not intend to go here. We went to shop.
No, but then in a place like that, I'm supposed to have contingency plans.
You can buy the water in the shop.
No, man, you need and water not gonna help you. You need to drink some milk and eat like an icicle or something.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Nah, bro. I've seen men look at, for example, an experienced, well-renowned chef like Gordon Ramsay. He did Hot Ones twice. If you don't know about Hot Ones, it's a YouTube show. What's the host name again? Sean.
I don't know.
Sean. Yeah,
no,
so
he
interviews
and big up his white name When We Feast.
First We Feast. So First We Feast, I think, is a station, and then the show is called Hot Ones, and he does interviews with really famous people while they're eating wings with different types of sauces, and it's hilarious. But the interview is really good.
I watch it all.
So one of the funniest ones I saw was with Idris Elba, that famous meme of him choking. Yes. That's where that's from. And Gordon, who is this man has been eating spices his entire life. Him just can't manage it. He's doing all of these things that will help him. He might drink milk, he might drink lemon juice, he might throw things in him eye. Yeah. And then you gone over there it's Carolina stupidness. That's how you go drink water.
I literally said to Bradley, I said to him, I would like to be famous just to be able to go on that show. Because I need to know how hot the spices are.
Well, they have the Scoville units on it, so you can use what the peppers that you know as a benchmark to see how much higher they get.
No, man, I want the specific sauce, them. But I know the sauces change from season to season. So, so if I ever get famous, too. I will be on the show. My PR team will be reaching out, and I will be on the show. Just letting you guys know.
You know which show I always wanted to be on? As simple as it was, I watched it every Sunday. Grace Cooking with Maisie Miller.
For real?
Yeah, or not even be on the show. I think that is when I started to like narrate to myself. Not really love cook, because I always love food, but when I was that age, I was more into baking. So I would bake every Sunday. So I would watch her food stuff, and later on, every time I was baking or even cooking at the time, I would like narrate through it the way how she would do it. I would always be like, and she used to have the repeat show every Tuesday evening when I came home from school. I must still remember that. I can't remember what me eat last week. You see them something, yeah?
Oh my God.
But yeah, big up Maisie Miller.
Big up Maisie Miller.
I think she's
big up Sean.
Yeah, she was like the foundation
Big up
of my food interest journey.
I feel that. So yeah, guys. So I guess to wrap it up, clearly, as Caribbean people, we're spicy in more ways than one.
Jamaican people especially.
Do we have an attitude because we love pepper so much?
Maybe there has to be some correlation.
Maybe, you know.
You really never know, you know.
You never know. But yeah, so I would love to know how you guys feel about pepper.
What's your relationship with pepper like?
Are you a pepper lover? Are you a pepper hater? Are you indifferent?
Are you the kind of people who don't season your food? We'd like to know. And tell us why. There's no shame, you know. There's no judgment. If that's how you like your food, that's how you like your food. I know that a lot of people who work out religiously or, you know, stick to very clean diets, they tend to avoid for example, powder seasoning. So they would more use, you know, the fresh herbs and grind it up and make their own kind of sauce.
But you know them say that pepper's supposed to help you lose weight though. So them say.
Well, that's pepper, but what I was referring to is like seasoning. So like they more use like powder seasoning, all purpose that you mentioned earlier and all that.
Got you.
So I mean, everybody have their preference in that regard.
Yeah.
But tell us, we'd like to know more.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for this week. We're keeping it spicy as always. Hope you guys are keeping it spicy too. And
but not too spicy. Some want to when I can turn it on a little bit.
Well, oh boy. Well, you know how it usually is, guys. Eat what you grow what you eat.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Don't knock it till you try it. Watch your own plate.
Wash your hands.
Sanitize. Social distance. Wear your mask and stay safe. Thank you guys for listening. Join us next time.
Bye.
Bye.